Hello and welcome to Politically Incorrect Knitters. My name is Anne Pinkava, joined as always by the lovely Deplorable Knitter and Amy from Two Sisters and Some Yarn.
Hey.
Hey, everybody. Before we talk to Amy and find out all of the fancy stuff she's got going on, I wanted to announce our winner of Dorinda Wilson's 4-Hour School Day from last week. So congratulations, Stevens Defense Academy. You guys got the copy. Please email politicallyincorrectknitters@gmail.com with your info so we can get it out to you. Congratulations. And then for the rest of you guys who are still waiting for your opportunity to win Odyssey Tale, make sure you comment on this episode for your chance to win a copy of Cody Schlegel's Odyssey Tale. You can either get this fabulous copy right here in my hands, or you can get an Audible copy for yourself to listen to. And also this month is this lovely DK sock mini set from Chicken Lady. It is beautiful. It's Patriot Bouquet. It'll make something fabulous. So enter to win. And if you can't wait to get her yarn, make sure you use the code PIK Hot as Heck 20 to get 20% off of any purchase in her store, because Chicken Lady's awesome. So
we love Chicken Lady around here, and not just because she's a sponsor, but that helps. No, that she helps sponsor our show. And
but
her yarns are her yarns are absolutely fabulous. And if you subscribe to her newsletter, you can get like extra discount codes, as well as promos on her new colors. And again, our discount code is PIK Hot as Heck 20 for the month of August, and 20% off your order.
Yeah, and seriously, we do love her yarns. My mom was making something with one of her colorways the other day. I think it was Mrs. White, so it was mostly white with like some speckles in it. And she was like, I love this yarn. I don't want to ever make anything else. Oh, Amy's
there it is.
Copyrights.
That's the clue. It's Mrs. White's right there.
But her yarns are so pretty. So do you guys mind if I show you what I made first? Because I have something fun.
Sure, go ahead.
I made this. And it just makes me smile because it's as big as my head. And
that's cute.
I live in we have a community park in my neighborhood, and so we do fundraising to take care of it. And so every year we do a barbecue, and the barbecue is this coming weekend, and we do like basket raffles and things. But instead I made a giant jellyfish, and I was like, hey, do you think anybody will bid on it? And they were like, we'll try. I mean, look at how fun it is.
It is cute.
It is pretty cute.
And I also, these are all out of order. I made a pumpkin, putting on a craft show, a craft fair this in September. So I need to have some fall-y things. And I made a jellyfish, a little one.
Aww.
So I've been crocheting a lot because I find that making the little animals is just easier. So that's what I've been up to. I'm gonna make more of these pumpkins.
I was about to say, you can make those. I don't know if they're still taking them on now. I used to make octopuses for preemies in the NICU, because they'd make little ones like that, the tentacles, and they'd hang on to the tentacles instead of pull all their tubes out. So, but then
cool.
COVID hit.
Maybe I'll look into that. That's what I've done. What about you guys? You got any projects?
I finished something today. I'm holding yarn, but hold on, let me put my Garter Abyss shawl that my friends are evil on down. I made DK's weight socks in the yarn from Carissa, my yarn, the Two Sisters and Some Yarn from Sweet Mountain Crafts.
Pretty.
Our two sisters. I'm the same everywhere, not just on the podcast. So I did that today.
Pretty.
Finished that today. I didn't do these. To clarify, I'm not Tabitha.
Yeah. My mom is like that. I'm gonna get my mom on one day and see if she knits faster than Tabitha, because she used to make a pair of socks in like 8 hours. So she may be up there. Yeah. 2 at a time, toe up, 8 hours. So we need to get her on the leaderboard.
Yeah, and then you could have like the final four thing, like basketball.
Right.
Yeah. And
Face
for
off.
anybody who has no idea what we're referencing, on our Tuesday show live from the Knitting Wars, we do goofy things like time each other while we knit to see who's fastest. And right now, Tabitha from Murder Knits is like far and away the fastest knitter. She's got what, 68 stitches a minute. And
Yeah.
who's next? Is it you, Anne?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think I'm
So
50 something. I don't remember what, but still.
yeah. So Tabitha is far and away.
Newman.
And I'm in third place, and I've got like 38 stitches a minute. So that goes to show you that she's almost twice as fast as I am. And I'm in third place. So we got to get somebody up there to challenge her. You've been practicing?
So you know. Because I tested myself, I was like 52 or something like that. So I've been practicing. So.
Ooh, fancy. See, if I was continental, I think I'd be faster, but I'm not. So it is what it is. So Anne, what about you? What you got going on over there?
Well, is Amy done? Did you want to show off your garter abyss?
Yeah. I mean, I'm working on it. It's not finished. So pretty colors though. So
it is. It's a really pretty fade.
That's it.
Very nice.
So, oops, I almost dropped my phone on the pavement. As you can see, I'm not in my normal spot, so I'm kind of shuffling things around a bit. So I have, well, I'll probably say later, but so in my epic story of flying back to America, the Romanian TSA took my knitting needles. Jerks. So it's really upset. Well, not like super upset about that because they weren't just like knitting needles, throw it in the bin. Luckily, the lady who drove me to the airport, I was like, can I hand them back to her? And she was waiting for me, and they did. So they'll be back eventually. But those are knitting needles, you know, Addy Turbo 1 through 8. I think 4 I had in my checked luggage, which I also thought was going to be lost forever, but wasn't. So that's good. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, what do I do? And okay, so mostly American TSA, which I'll admit, American TSA, totally useless. Okay. But when you have, I've never had a problem with knitting needles with them before, because after all, if they give it a side eye, you'd be like, oh, they're knitting needles. And you just sort of blink and look innocent. They're like, oh, okay, it's fine. Romanian TSA, he was like, you know, testing his finger on that. And he's like, no, these are too sharp. You can't have these.
Really?
Yeah.
Addy are that sharp that he was like, no, you can't have them.
Well,
so you could have them like in a project, right? They didn't make you like take them out of a project.
No, I had to take them out of a project. I had to take them out of a pair of these little socks I was making.
Oh.
So it wasn't like I couldn't demonstrate my skill. They're like, I don't care. You could kill a man. And I'm like, well, I always knew that, but still. Like, but no, they're not like razor sharp or anything. But you know, anything if applied pressure, I get it. But come on. Also, because they're all cabled, it could be a great garage. But still, like, give me my knitting needles, man.
See, that's why I like to travel with my wooden 4-inch, like, because I got the hat set, you know, the small circulars. So they're short and they're wooden. So nobody's ever like, well, you could kill a man with this. I mean, it's kind of like having a chopstick or a toothpick or something. I probably could if I wanted to, but it'd take a lot more.
You got a vampire.
Right.
So.
Well, that's always, you never know when I'm going to need to do that. So that's good.
Exactly. I could use that. I mean, I didn't see any vampires, but be prepared. Boy Scouts.
You were closer than anybody, you know, anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, you were in Transylvania, so it was possible.
That's right. That's right, I was. But anyways, so they sold my knitting needles. So when I came home, I had to borrow some from my mother because I don't have multiple size 2 cabled knitting needles. So these are the Chicago whatever. And I don't particularly like them. That's not what they're called. But anyways, though, that she has the nice set where with the detachable cables, and it's not as if they're falling off the cables or something, but I'm like, they feel just a little bit too long and the cord is really stiff, which I know some people like that. I don't. And I know I probably should have chosen a shorter cord, but they're just like everywhere. Like, look at that. That's ridiculous. Anyways, so I've been knitting these little socks, which most of them I think are going to end up mini Christmas stockings and not lovely baby socks for the make along. Yes, these are cute as buttons.
Oh.
I was promised socks.
Anna Knitters Welcome Baby Socks, which were in Blocked magazine. And I really do have a sock problem because I love making them. They're so fast. They're so fun. The pattern is, quick enough that I've memorized it, even though I'm probably making the other socks a little too short. But I'm having a blast and I'm having a hard time stopping.
Well, I guess there's worse things, right?
Right. No, and finally home, so I'm with my yarn again, which has made me very happy. So I could probably dig through and find a proper project to show, but for the moment I'm just going like crazy on these little socks. I love them. Let's see. All right, I know I showed them before, but they just make me so happy.
They're so cute.
They're just so small. And I kind of wonder if they would actually fit children, but I'm not worried about that. I'm just gonna keep making them just into the little baby sock abyss.
Yeah, baby feet are weird. I don't know. My kids I think had long feet, like they were real skinny and long alien feet. So I don't know if those would fit them, but maybe
Probably
my kids
not.
are weird. I don't know.
I'll have to adjust my pattern.
Well, I don't have any more babies, so I guess it doesn't matter what my kids' feet look like. So whatever.
That's true. For the Let Them Live make along, which you're putting on.
Yes.
Yes, tell us about it. And I specifically got an email I forgot to respond to. I'm sorry. People are having difficulties finding an address to send their stuff to.
Oh, they have to message me because it's my house. So
okay. So you're not just putting that out in the.
You're not just putting that right there in your Instagram profile for anyone to see.
Okay, good. I will make sure that person knows then that if you want to send them to Amy, you'll have to contact Amy at Two Sisters and Some Yarn.
Yes.
That's how you're going to find it.
Yes.
So thank you. That was one of the questions. And what are people sending to you? Just so that maybe somebody watching doesn't know.
Any and all baby stuff and or things for mom or older babies, because babies grow, for the Let Them Live Foundation, which is a nonprofit that supports women considering abortion, and their pro-life organization hoping to get them to stop from having an abortion because many women choose it for financial reasons. And actually they have one particular mom that they're focusing on right now, and I can't remember, they don't give their real name, they give them all pseudonyms, and I don't remember. Maybe Alexis is the pseudonym, but she has
I think it is.
It's Alexis. She has a 4-day, 30-week abortion planned, and they're desperately trying to get her to reconsider. Because yes, you can in some states get a 30-week abortion, and yes, it takes 4 days. So,
I can't imagine that. I can't imagine
I can't
do that.
But she has a domestic situation and other children, and but yes, so the organization helps support women mostly financially, obviously more than financially. Obviously they mentor them and talk to them and counsel them and everything, but 73% of abortions are done because of financial reasons. So say their statistics. I didn't fact check that, but anyway, most of their reasons are I can't afford another kid, I had to leave the daddy, I am 17 and don't have a job, stuff like that. So they have saved 400 babies and counting. And I just wanted to do because I figured, new mom, they're struggling. They want little happy, fun, handmade things too. So you can donate physical things, and which like the Welcome Baby socks, hats. If you sew, it doesn't have to be knit or crochet. If you sew or make toys or whatever, nursing covers, car seat covers, whatever, anything a new mom can need, preferably that's washable and not, hand wash this, lay flat to dry forever, something a little, easily taken care of. And or you can financially donate and just show me, because we do have the fundraiser tied to our Instagram. So if you do it through that, I think I get a notification on everybody, but maybe not if they pick a certain setting to hide it. So if in doubt, they can shoot us an email at twosisterswithsomeyarn@gmail.com and just show me your receipt, or hey, I had donated, some kind of proof that you did it, you know, to double check that you did it and I saw it. We are at $840 something, I think. So I'm trying to get over 1,000. I know that's nothing in comparison to the $10,000 a knitter raised for the opposite side, but so be it. But we're going to go all the way through October 31st. So you have plenty of time to make stuff, to donate. I mean, $5 I'm not asking people to donate $500, you know, just something little. And if anybody wants to make items and or donate money to their local crisis pregnancy center and wants to provide proof to me of that, that's fine too. Like Lynn knit baby sweaters and gave them to her local place instead of mailing them to me. So, because I'm going to turn around and mail them to Let Them Live, their office, and they're going to disperse them to the moms. So, because obviously I'm not going to have information on the moms. So,
Right.
So that's that. You have until October 31st.
And also the whole thing where, you know, that she's donating that she is asking for donations and donating money to a cause, not just slipping in the, oh, by the way, your pattern sales have funded this cause that I'm for later, like kind of, you know, bring it in sneakily.
Exactly. So.
Yep.
And they are an actual nonprofit 501(c)(3). So your donation is tax deductible if that matters to you. So
Cool.
Nice.
Cool. We've been talking about it, but you know, it's best to hear it from the actual source, because Anna and I are like,
yes.
oh, I think we know.
And we have a lot of goodie giveaways. So for people that donate stuff or money, I'm keeping track on a spreadsheet of who did what. And it doesn't matter whether you give one thing or 5 things. It's just because I don't want people to feel like they have to do X. You know, you do what you're able to do. And then we have got a lot of good giveaways from Chicken Lady and Michelle at Naughty Knitwits. Cheryl Wise Out Knits has patterns she's going to give away. And DK, you've got your patterns on sale, a coupon code, Life 15, right? For your life pattern.
Wins 15. Or is it just Life 15?
I thought it was Life 15.
Okay, I'll double check that and I'll put it on.
I think it's Life 15.
It was like a month ago that I did it. So guys, you can't ask me to remember anything.
I'm pretty sure it's Life 15 because Cheryl's and Wise Out Knits is the same code.
Yes.
So y'all are Life 15. So
Life 15. There you go, guys. Use my code to get 15% off of your patterns.
All the actual details are all on the Instagram, and I did do a YouTube community post about it for anybody that wasn't on Instagram. So
cool. Did you have more to tell us about your traveling, Anne?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Well, I did have an exciting trip story to tell. As I was joking with Amy before we started, like, aren't you glad I invited you on so I can talk about myself? This is great. But no, that it was a pretty wild trip back. Okay, so slightly before Romanian TSA stole my knitting needles. So I said on the live, I was there, you were there, we were all there. I said on the live that I'm flying out Thursday morning from Romania. Yeah, so my tickets were not for Thursday morning from Romania. So I got a phone call from my mother because they had been watching and they realized that the tickets were wrong because I sent them my parents a copy of my itinerary, of course, because I'm a good daughter. So they had heard me say Thursday morning. It's 10 o'clock at night at home. They call me up and say that I was wrong. So it's 5:30 in the morning. The flight leaves at 6:15. So and I had not finished packing. I mostly packed, like 2/3 of my stuff packed, but I hadn't really. So first I called the lady who was going to drive me to the airport, which, wake her up out of a dead sleep and say, we got to go now, throw everything in. And it's just like, I'm sitting there like heart attack, hyperventilating, actually left stuff I'm like, whatever, ship it later, go, go, go. And out the door, got to the airport at 6:03, but they couldn't check me in or anything. The plane was already going, so missed it.
Oh, no.
So yeah, so I call up the airline, sitting there trying to figure it out. That was just a whole mess, but luckily for the low price of $450, I was able to reschedule for later that day, so it wasn't a total price loss, but still, I was able to reschedule for later that day. Also, okay, so this was going to be wacky because I left Romania at that time to go to my brother's wedding in Nebraska. My original tickets were flying back to Sioux Falls, but that wouldn't actually work. So I had got another ticket from the Denver airport to Nebraska, to the town in Nebraska. And but that ticket had been for Thursday and not for Wednesday. So I'm like, okay, so at least I'm wrong consistently-ish. So anyways, got on the plane, stole my knitting needles, let's not be too bitter. So flights go well, everything is fine. Land in America, got a hotel room for that night in Denver airport, pretty creepy. Came back the next day. Okay, I had never had a TSA experience like this before in my life. Even with the guy who stole my knitting needles, but also the TSA agents, like, okay, sure, like I've had them pull over my bags and look at stuff before, but I've never had like an issue with them. Like, I'm like, okay, you're just doing your job, I get it, whatever. And like I said, even the guy who took my knitting needles, very kind, professional. It wasn't anything snarky. There was this creepy dude in the Denver airport. So I'm doing the shoeless shuffle
I forgot
like everybody
you told
else.
me this.
Yeah.
Seriously. So anyway, so my bags are all unpacked and I'm sitting there with my bins and I'm repacking my bags and all of this. And I go to take my bag and turn away, and he says, have a good flight, or, like have a fun flight or something. Like, oh yeah, thank you, I will. And he says, I have to remember exactly how I phrased it because it was creepy as heck. That he said that now it was something like, don't get into any trouble because government timeout is no fun. I know this. And I'm like, what? They're like, is that a veiled threat? What did I do to warrant this? What?
Or an invitation.
Or an invitation. I don't know. I'm a little freaked out, and not in a fun way. This is not. Yeah, it was weird. And then, but the worst part is that so behind me there's a dad and two kids, and the dad was pulled aside by the TSA, and the same guy tells the kids that their dad is going to get them in trouble after they just got pulled. I'm like, what is your actual deal? Like, what a rude, awful man. It was one of those things of, wish I had thought.
Didn't you say he said something about your daddy's going to go to jail or something like that?
No, it wasn't that he was going to go to jail, but it's like your dad's going to get you in trouble. But it was another thing about he used the term government timeout. And just like, dude, don't freak out the kids. Like, what? The process doesn't have to be scary. If you're actually concerned about this nice man in shorts, okay, fine. But still. Anyways, so yeah, all of that going through, and it's like one of those things of, I'm just going to shuffle out quickly, but maybe I should have grabbed, whatever his name is and have a formal complaint, because that's not cool, my dude. Especially since the TSA has caught 0 terrorists to date. And also, it was like this weird, like he was downtrodden, but also he was kind of excited about it, like he was into it, and he was just this really weird dude. Anyways, so all of that to say, Denver airport, got in a puddle jumper airplane, which before that got delayed, which I was saying a little bit before. I put a picture on Instagram of my action figures I was doing, going no, because of the flight delay. But that, you know, there was only 7 people on this plane, so the guy was like individually walking around to the 7 people hanging out in the lobby to say, oh, by the way, the flight is going to be like this way, and I'm just sitting there like taking a staged photo of action figures like, thanks, man. And,
At least you weren't weird. I mean, at least nobody thought anything strange
yeah,
about you.
yeah, totally normal.
You and Daredevil,
but yeah.
government timeout.
Exactly. How dare you? Gotta cut. You know, my action figures will be in individual plastic baggies and written and quickly lost, like anything else under government control. But oh, and I didn't even say, so my bag was lost in Munich, my checked luggage. So it was that half thing of, you know, and when I was talking with the lady to figure out what happened to it, I was also on the phone with the hotel at the same time. So I'm just like, thank you, nice lady at the Denver airport. You know, positive experience, negative experience. We got both in Denver. But you know, that I'm trying to identify what my bag will look like. And I've heard that in Europe right now, a lot of bags are just being abandoned. And I'm like, I may never see that again. But spoiler for the end of the story, I did. But anyways, so puddle jumper to Nebraska, my brother's wedding, absolutely beautiful. We stayed at Fort Robinson State Park, which is where a lot of cavalry officers and stuff was trained, and they had a POW camp there. Very, very beautiful. They have the buttes behind, and it's one of those places where I would have never like thought of going, but it was just awesome. They had little like ride arounds, and it was a really great state park, and they had a restaurant that was really good too. We ate breakfast there every day. It was awesome. Anyways, wedding itself, lovely, charming. They got married. It was great. Yeah, it was a really lovely time. And then you know, food went off well. I did my part and stood there holding wooden flowers. You know, it's nice. Pastor, good sermon, wasn't too much of a downer. 15-minute service tops, like I said. But anyways, beautiful day. And that evening, you know, not to make my brother's wedding story all about myself, so that evening I had the worst toothache ever, and it continued for the next 48 hours in driving back. So it was like everything was eclipsed by that. So now I'm home in South Dakota. Tooth is out. Everything's good. Cleaning up my apartment. That's the end of my long tale. Luggage is back. My luggage was delivered. I did see it again.
There you go.
So nothing harmed.
Well, you looked beautiful. Your pictures were beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
I never saw them. Maybe
Oh,
I'll put
man.
one in for people to see.
Yeah, I'll post them.
I've
Or
been
I'll send
super
them to you,
busy,
of course.
so yeah, I've been super busy.
But you
so
didn't
I've
bring
missed a
back
lot of stuff.
A Romanian boyfriend, right?
No. One of my aunts came up to me at the wedding like, hey, where's Yuri? And my mom would be like, I'm not sure Yuri is a Roman name or a Romanian name, but no, there is no Yuri. There's no, you know. I know, I'm dropping the ball.
See, I'm evil. I would have concocted some big story and like totally drug it to the 90-day fiance thing just to see what they'd say.
That's funny.
Because I'm evil.
See, what was I thinking? There I was in Romania. I had all the time in the world, and didn't even spend that time watching 90 Day Fiance if I couldn't snag one for myself. My time management skills are garbage.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll survive somehow, though. I mean,
Probably. I'll make it. So yeah, so
well,
that's
I'm
my
glad
big
you got
ridiculous
home
story.
fine, and everything's wonderful now.
It's awesome.
Hey, before I forget, can I show off Tina's yarn?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because I'm trying to decide what to make. So I got some of, and I don't know what she calls the collection, but I call it if you know, you know. This one is 8%, which I love the gray and greens. Then this one's supposed to be the green in it. which I don't totally know if it's exactly, because there's another green down here. This one is, the yarn is in escrow. And then this green, I think, is the griff that keeps on giving. So I don't know, are the two greens too much, like together in a project, or would you just do like, because I'm thinking like a DK shawl.
I think you could use them both. They're obviously
I know
different
not
as
next
they
to each
go.
other, because then they'd wash out, but like,
No, but you know what I mean? It doesn't look like it's a different, like you got bad dye lots or something. They look like
No.
obviously different colors. So
yeah, this has speckles in it, and this
Yeah.
one's all solid.
yeah.
But I just thought maybe like if I did something stripey, maybe it would
Mhm.
work. So that's Tina of A Winted Yarn and Fiber.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say her
so
Twitter.
pretty.
Technically, her Twitter is Flowers Against. That's technically her Twitter handle. So, but she's back to dyeing, so I'm very happy. So I want to show those. So if y'all have any DK shawl suggestions, I'm open.
I know.
Okay.
I'm so glad she's back too. I mean, first off, just because I love Tina, but
I know.
her yarns are so pretty.
I know.
I've been really eyeing the 8% one because,
I
you know, when
really
it's
like-
just the
That's-
subtlest of stripes.
That's cool. I like that one. That's my favorite.
I think we have to talk politics. I think that people expect that of us and think that we don't bring enough politics sometimes.
Oh,
So
wow.
girls, ladies, lay it on me.
Well, YouTube rules have changed. So now you can say anything you like about vaccines or mask efficiency or anything like that. It's amazing. Just as Fauci's leaving. It's the craziest crap.
That's really
What a
funny.
coincidence.
Yeah, it is. You know, okay, this doesn't actually have much to do with what you just said, but I read a headline yesterday and you made me think of it because you said Fauci, and it was somebody got monkeypox, HIV, and COVID-19 all in the same trip in Spain. And people were like, well, what was he doing? And I'm thinking, I think I know what he was doing.
I'm not saying nothing about what he was doing.
but for them to be so surprised about it,
Like,
well,
wow.
little common sense, you might be able to figure that out.
It happens sometimes, you know. Just walking through the store, you catch you some monkeypox, you know.
And HIV all at the same time.
Definitely.
And I mean, that must be terrible for that person. I'm not like anything against them, but the headline was hilarious because it's like, whoa, how could this
I think
have
you could
happened?
probably
Well, news people,
Not-
if I have to explain to
not
you how
to be
that
all
happened.
judgy over here, but I think he probably bears a little bit of the responsibility. Just a mild-
Well, I mean, and I'm not going to profile, but you know, I mean, the city of New Orleans is having a vax extravaganza, like extravaganza, but vax whatever. And they're specifically having it at the Decadence Fest, which for those that do not know is a LGBTQ plus on steroids festival over Labor Day weekend in New Orleans, which the festival predates all the letters. But so they're having a special vaccine extra, whatever the heck the word is. So you can get your
Before
monkeypox
Pride, there was
vaccine
decadence.
and your COVID vaccine and your whatever vaccines you need to go enjoy Decadence.
Get all your shots.
I mean, I'm not saying there's any correlation at all about the type of festival and the vaccine they're
Sounds
pushing.
like a very needle-friendly party.
Coincidence, you know? Oh, it's coincidence.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, don't ever come to New Orleans over Labor Day weekend to visit. Just don't.
That's good to know.
Y'all think fried is bad? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Wow, that's crazy. I saw a picture of it. It was a clip taken, like a still taken from a video of a Pride festival with a person on a pole, wearing some sort of bikini top with their boobs spilling out, with a little kid in between them and the pole. And I just want to know, like, if okay, never gonna do that with my kids, but if I posted a picture of like my kid at a straight Pride event doing something like that with like a man, it would be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
You would have
how
CPS called on you.
Oh no, I wouldn't have any more kids. They would be gone. So what is the difference between the Pride events and other things that go on? Does anybody know? Do you guys know why they're immune to that kind of stuff? No.
No, the holy month of Pride,
Well, why is
because
the holy
there's
month
so
of Pride
much
in
of.
September.
I know. It's like Christmas. It keeps sneaking up farther.
Yes.
Dude.
It's like, Christmas, like on Hallmark Channel, they cut off my Golden Girls like before Halloween now for all the Christmas movies. So now maybe Pride's just going to go from like June to December.
I think it may. But I was in Hobby Lobby today, and they were putting out their Christmas supplies. So yeah, and it's August 25th.
Well,
so there you
Hobby
go.
Lobby has a
always
little
done
bit
that.
of an excuse because you got to get your Christmas knitting in now.
Right.
So
They've always
everybody,
done
do that. Chicken Lady promo code Christmas knitting. Get it done. You'll
Get it
thank
done.
yourself later.
I did see a funny meme. Somebody said, "Where do I go to see fall foliage in Louisiana?" And somebody said, "Hobby Lobby." I was like, "Yep."
Well, you better get there soon because it's already almost all gone. They're putting out their Christmas.
Well, I mean, I have to buy it early because like fall is here in December. So
Right.
that one day.
Everyone else be putting their fall stuff out on discount. You're like, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Speaking of Louisiana.
For those who don't know, that I live in Louisiana and I live above the giant lake at the bottom of Louisiana. North Shore of New Orleans, we call it. So our lovely mayor of New Orleans, LaToya Cantrell, who we all affectionately call LaToya the Destroyer, has been just a lovely, lovely gift to the city of New Orleans, which was already fairly deplorable in the true deplorable sense, not in the deplorable knitter sense, but in the truly deplorable sense. And even with COVID and everything, she just went, I have not stepped foot in that city except to deliver like a part to my boss for 2.5 years. And I didn't even get out the car that time. I was just like, here's your part, I'm going. And I like turned on the GPS thing. I'm like, okay, I'll tell you when I get back.
Yeah. Well, you've said before, like people getting shot on the highway. You're like in your car.
Yeah, you got to zig and zag. You got to duck and weave when you're driving.
Be aware.
Yeah. It is so bad that it's now to the point where it's on national news. Tucker Carlson, I forget where else I saw it today on national news, but because the carjackings are out of control. I mean, 3 months ago they had a carjack, and it's teenagers committing these carjackings. So teenagers, Young Rippa got 500K subs. Go ahead. Sorry. Got a notification on my thing. That should be coming soon. I'm ready for that comic to get here. Anyway, sorry. That's life with me. Get used to it. So
That's right.
3 months ago or so, these 3 teenagers in the city, and it wasn't necessarily a terrible part of town because there are like literally multi-million-dollar homes, fancy schmancy, expensive parts of the city, 3 blocks down from where you would not want to go. So anyway, this lady who was maybe 3 years away from retirement was walking to her car, I think, to put something in her car. 3 teenagers came up, carjacked her. She tried to give them the car, but she was stuck in the seatbelt and could not get out.
Right.
And they took the car and drug her down the block to the point that her arm fell off and she died.
My God.
So that is just an example of the youth of the city. So fast forward to recently, and this young, I think white girls, they might be roommates, I'm not sure. I think there's maybe college students or young workers or whatever, but they're in the city and they get carjacked by this, I want to say 13-year-old boy, maybe 15. I can't remember, but it was his 5th carjacking in 2 days.
Wow.
So so they find him and everything, and they go through the process, yada yada. Well, the mayor decides to show up in court, not in support of the victims, but in support of the carjacker.
What?
And support him and his mama and consoling his mama. Now, and today in her news conferences, which if you've ever watched her speak, I just want to like punch the screen. But she says, well, I put my hand on the victim's shoulder and said, God bless, because I'm a very spiritual woman. And that means a lot to me. And in the girl's defense, she's been on the news like, I don't give a damn if you like, she's just like, that's not acceptable. You are supporting. And the argument is this young man supposedly was going to go through the mayor's diversion program so he would stop committing crimes. And I'm like, he's 13 and did 5 carjackings in 2 days. I'm thinking diversion program is not going to so much stop him.
I'm starting to think this may sound crazy, but I think he enjoys it. I think he's got a real knack. He's got a skill set, and he's employing it at speed.
Yeah. So the crime is astronomically out of control. They're freaking out about how many kids are not enrolled in school compared to pre-COVID. And I'm like, well, first of all, it's a whole mess of kids who homeschooled, and y'all didn't properly exit code them correctly. But also, it's because a huge chunk of them in the city just were like, well, they don't know if we on online school, so we just don't go. So it is systematically awful down there. And I will go with people if they really want to go, because she's finally dropped the vaccine requirements. She finally dropped the mask stuff, so I could potentially go, but I would go with somebody who's packing.
Right.
Which is a shame, because as much as I complain about the heat and the fact that alligators could eat you and all that stuff and the crime, it is a beautiful city, and it's extremely historically awesome. And if you know where to go and know what to do and find, know somebody, you don't just do all this touristy things, it's really cool. I mean, the touristy stuff
It's one of the,
too, but
right. It's one of the most restaurants per capita.
Yeah, I mean, you will gain like 15 pounds in like 3 days. That's not even. You'll be drunk and gain
all
a bunch
that
of
good Cajun food. But Cajun food, getting shot.
And I mean, 5-star restaurants. I mean, like world-renowned chefs. Historical architecture that's from hundreds of years ago, and rampant crimes. And especially, we have a huge problem with like those ATVs. They're just letting them just ride through the streets, just cause they race, they peel out, climb on top of cop cars, and have big old parties and fights right there in the middle of the city, in the middle of CBD, in the middle of downtown. Just, because there are literally less than 1,000 NOPD cops right now. New Orleans is a really big city.
Uh-huh.
So 1,000 cops,
Wow.
it's not a lot.
That's no good.
Yeah, I mean, we literally had a case like a couple months ago where a woman called 911, and a woman was passed out in a quarter, being raped, with a cop car on the corner, and the person making the call was like, hey, I see the cop. Can y'all not tell him to go get? She tried to get the cop's attention. She tried to get the cop to go do something. He completely ignored the woman being raped on the corner. Yeah. So wow. I am not a ticket commercial for New Orleans tourism.
Right. With you're saying there's only 1,000 cops, like, wow, you need more cops. But maybe that guy,
this is their job.
Why does he still have a job? Like, maybe you need less cops if they're going to be of that quality.
Right. Well, and in their defense, they have been handcuffed by things, because the New Orleans Police Department is still technically under what they call a consent decree, because it was so corrupt from previous mayors that I forget what it all means. It has to do with the control of it. And they do get a little handcuffed of what they can do. And I don't blame some cops these days. If you're videotaped for everything and one wrong in a neighboring parish, the kids riding around on ATVs, 2 cops took the 12-year-old riding around on an ATV wildly across the interstate. Cops took him down, and now they're supposedly being looked at for, they took him down too rough. Well, how the hell else do you take a 12-year-old down who's riding on an ATV, who his friend just ran over a cop and took his leg off? Like, this is what the state of things are. Uh-huh. I mean, so cops are kind of, I do get it. They're a little, sometimes they're hesitant to really do what they need to do, because they might get fired for doing their job. So
Right. It's not a system that rewards good cops to begin with.
No.
And then
no, it's not. So that's my anti-commercial for the city of New Orleans. But you can always come visit me. I'm on the North Shore. You come visit me, and there's way cool stuff on my side of the lake, and then there's a whole Gulf Coast region we could go party at. So where we won't get killed. So
hopefully.
So yeah. So that made national news. I don't know if anybody saw it because I know it was on Tucker Carlson, and I forgot. I told you who the other one was. I forgot what it was, but I don't remember. But
it's weird. I worked at the Red Cross for a long time, and when I worked there, we were under a consent decree because we had at some point like violated FDA standards, and so we were under a consent decree with the FDA. But that's the only situation I've ever heard of it, and I've never heard of like I'm trying to figure out how that would even work on a
it's been a long time. Like it was, I think it happened around Katrina because during Katrina, when all hell literally broke loose, there were cops that did kill people, which in my opinion, they were doing their job to protect the city. But so I think it's came from that, all the fallout of Katrina and how bad things were handled. So because I want to say the consent decree was like 20 years, but I could be wrong on that. So don't quote me on that.
Well, I worked at the Red Cross for a long time, and when I started working, everybody's like, we'll never get out of the consent decree, we'll never get out of the consent decree, and they did, and then everything went right back in the crapper because nobody was scared of the FDA coming and looking at their stuff again. So it's kind of like, maybe it's not, in some situations it's not so bad, but it's interesting. In New York, we had primaries this Tuesday, and a few longtime Democrats, there's one longtime Democrat that lost her primary because it was her and Chuck Schumer in the same district because they redrew lines. But there were some people that were expected to win who didn't. Some Democrats who were expected to win who didn't. So that was a bonus. But then there was also somebody who won who part of her speech was about how this is what a socialist agenda looks like in New York. So some good came out of it, some horrible came out of it.
I don't remember, but was that in Astoria, I think? Because I think Mike Harlow talked about that a bit.
It could have been. I'm not, I'm in upstate New York. So once we get down into those other areas, I'm like, I don't know, it's all kind of the city. Like,
you're like all those people.
New York is,
no,
they're all crazy down there. And the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez area doing crazy AOC kind of crap. But that's what's been happening here. And I heard that there was a leak about Hunter Biden's laptop, and that the Department of Justice is putting off looking into it again until after midterms. So interesting.
Well, their entire thing before where it's like, oh, well, we couldn't do this. We couldn't possibly influence a presidential election. Oh, takes Rudy Giuliani's laptop, which he had, chuck that over your shoulder. No, we're not going to look at that. That would be bad. Oh, midterms. It's like, I don't know. Biden's not on the ballot. Maybe you should look at that. No, would influence midterms. And then so FBI is definitely not looking at the Hunter laptop. No way, no, never. They are investigating Project Veritas for Ashley Biden's diary. That there's that they say that they got it illegally. Project Veritas said they didn't, that it was, that they got it in a legal way. They didn't know there was any illegal activity surrounding the diary. FBI says, oh, no, we need to look into that. And also, a judge has ordered the affidavit for the raid on Mar-a-Lago to be released. It's going to be redacted. So how useful is that going to be? But a judge has ordered it to be released. So fun in the FBI.
Isn't it the however many years anniversary of Ruby Ridge too? Well, didn't that just pass a week or so ago?
I think so.
Are you too young?
I saw something about it, but I don't remember how long it's been.
I don't know what it is. I won't even lie. I have no idea what you're talking about. I was going to pretend I did, but I don't. I got nothing.
Tell us a story, Amy.
I mean, it's been a while, but basically it was some gun owners and homeschoolers, and the government decided they were scary and had the wrong kind of weapons, and then raided and killed people. And it went really, really bad, like how Waco did. So, actually, that's a book recommendation. If you've never read the book Educated by Tara, I forget what her last name is, but she was a homeschooler who was improperly homeschooled, because it does happen. And they lived not far from Ruby Ridge, and she mentions it in the book that because her parents were friends with the people at Ruby Ridge, and she talks about when it all went down. But it's a really interesting book. It's a memoir called Educated.
Cool. Well, thanks for the recommendation. And I will give a book recommendation since we are out of news for today. Because life has been stupid, but I just read a book called It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, and I can't stop thinking about it. So
I've heard of that.
It was good. It deals with domestic violence, so if that's something that you're not okay with, it's not for you. But the way that she told the story, it was so raw and honest, and it was a very good book. It may have had an agenda in it, but the overall theme of it was it didn't matter.
Okay,
So,
good.
Like, I don't remember anything
I'll
specific.
put it on my
but I
list.
think
My book stack is like that long right now.
But I just can't stop thinking about it. I finished it 2 days ago. So
But with the FBI and Hunter Biden, that the movie My Son Hunter that Lawrence Fox is in with Gina Carano and a lot of people, that Breitbart is finally publishing it. So the trailer comes out today. So when this is out, the trailer will have already come out. But yeah, they're putting it through Breitbart on September 7th, I think. So that's exciting.
cool.
So will it be free, or it'll be like you have to pay, you know?
I'm not sure yet.
It's like Daily Wire movies you have to pay for, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Not that that's fine, but
yeah. I mean, it's good and all that, people want to get paid for their work and stuff.
entertain me for free.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I'm still a little like, I want to see this movie because, it's really good. It's going to be about Hunter Biden. But the thing is like, I'm not sure I want to see Lawrence Fox as a naked Hunter Biden. Okay. Like, that may be too much for me.
Yeah.
Like,
who plays
no.
Joe Biden?
I'd have to look it up.
I saw the picture of the movie thing, but I couldn't remember who it was, and the name didn't pop out to me. So so who's Gina Carano? Jill?
No, Gina Carano is going to be a government agent.
Oh, cool.
That makes more sense.
She does not look like Jill.
I was like, I don't
Not
see
really.
that. That's not right.
Yeah. And I don't think she's Hunter's type for a Russian hooker either. So
No.
anyways, so that should be good.
Well.
So even if the FBI isn't covering it, there's still the movie out.
So
Join
guys,
or
we're
make
gonna
along.
head out. Yeah, no, we're gonna get going, but don't forget to join Amy's Make Along for Let Them Live, and you can also find her on her very own podcast, Two Sisters and Some Yarn, which she does with her big sister, and you can find her on Instagram at Two Sisters and Some Yarn, and
That's about
it. That's about it.
That's it. Yeah.
So make sure you check out Amy. Don't forget to, go to our sponsor, Chicken Lady Fiber Arts, get some cool yarn. This is your last week to enter for this guy. So make sure you do it. If you enjoy books that aren't woke, check out Cody Schlegel's Odyssey Tale. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And check us on Tuesdays for the Live from the Knitting Wars.
Yes.
Every other Tuesday. We'll be on this coming week. So
yes, this coming week. Yeah. Check us out then.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Amy, thanks so much for taking the time today. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.